We got a late start, but we're an hour in. The trip is in progress.
This is pretty much the worst video ever made.
Napoleon, like anyone can even know that.
Hello my friends, welcome to Tom's Tinkering and Adventures and a 4-day journey on the $250 Kawasaki Concours and trailer, along with my buddy Eddie on his 10-year newer Kawasaki Concours. So we are headed up to Prescot. You may call it Prescot, but then you'll be definitely outed as a non-native. Prescot, Arizona. I have a buddy there, and he said we can stay there for the night. Even though we have all the camping gear, we're going to take advantage of any situation we can. We were planning on going to Flagstaff, but Prescott's about an hour and a half away, something like that. And it'll be a good first ride. We're 50 miles in. Both the bikes are working fine. And here, I'm going to show you a few things on the bike. We got license plates, hooray! Check the tires, all the lights work. The hitch seems to be working fine. I installed this awesome cup holder here so I can have some water, even though it's really hard to drink it while you're riding, but you can pull over quick and get a drink. I got my phone charger there, phone holder here. Everything seems to be working. Were the lights working, Eddie?
Huh?
Could you see the lights, the turn signals and stuff?
Yeah, everything.
All right.
Perfect.
And for my first time towing a trailer, it didn't seem too bad. I didn't really check the load distribution too much on the trailer. I unhooked it, it felt pretty neutral. And I think I have solved the fork seal leakage. I don't see any oil all over everything, so that is a very good sign. I cleaned the fork seal, and then I come to realize after looking at the bike, I don't know how far down in there you can see it, but these are old school air forks, and there's a little distribution tube that goes across there, and there's a small hole in the fork leg, so you put air in and then it equalizes. Anyway, that distribution block thing was lifted up about 1/4 of an inch on the one that was leaking. So I think what happened is maybe the genius who rebuilt these forks, and I can point the finger at myself, didn't get that all the way down there. So I had reseated that yesterday, and it seems to be working. The bikes are getting about 35 mpg, not great, but not bad. 5+ gallon tank, we should be fine. The only thing that I had any concern about was going up the hills. The temp gauge was at about 2/3, but never got beyond that, and as soon as I got to level ground, it went right back down to the lower half. So we are going to go from here, drop down into the desert. It's going to be hot, and we're going to have at least 150 miles of hot, and hopefully once we gain elevation, we'll cool off. Knocked out another 100 miles. In the distance right behind us here, Glamis sand dunes. And I don't know, it's probably 100 degrees. It's not terrible. Bike's working good. The speedometer is starting to make some squealing noises. So the speedometer might not make it, but we will. Stop to cool off and get some gas in Aguila, Arizona, about 75 miles away from Prescott. Must be some good dove hunting here. Bike's been running well. A little bit towards the hot side, but it was 110 degrees for quite a ways. Hasn't gotten all the way to the hot, but it was pretty close at one point. Good morning from beautiful Prescott, Arizona. We were fortunate enough that a riding pal of mine has a place here, and took us in for the night. So even though we have all the camping gear, you might as well take advantage of good friends. Took us in, made us dinner, making us breakfast. The old $250 bike, working pretty good. My only real concern is that it was running pretty warm yesterday. It got almost all the way over to the hot at one point, but it was 110 degrees out. I checked the coolant level. It seems like it's fine. So maybe just the heat, pulling the trailer, going up hills, I don't know. We'll see how it works today. Eddie and I discussed it, and I think we're just going to kind of be lazy tourists today. From Prescott, we can go up to Jerome, Arizona, Sedona. We may or may not do the Grand Canyon. He's been there, I've been there. I mean, it's nice. obviously, but this is supposed to kind of be a vacation. So if we're just going to be tourists, we'll take our time. We're going to be camping tonight unless something crazy happens. So I would like to be at a campsite well before dark. Last night we ended up riding until, I don't know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes after dark. I prefer not to do that, especially if I'm camping. But breakfast is cooking up right now. I'm gonna go get some food and I'll come back to you wherever we end up. We made a quick little stop about a mile or so outside of Jerome, Arizona. Little Scenic Overlook. Pretty sure that's some mining stuff up there. I think I stopped here before on a trip I might have done a while back, probably documented it, but bike's running great today. It's not overheating, but it's 20-30 degrees cooler. And I took off the wing fairings that are on the bottom here because my legs are getting roasted. These are the stock ones that are on the bike from the factory, and the ones I had on here are the Euro fairings. They looked really nice, but we'll see. They're not very wide. I'm going to see if they make a big difference. Stop for a little walking tour of Jerome. Lots of historical old buildings here. Old mining town up on the top of the hill, built kind of right into the hillside. There should be Grand Canyon-esque area over there, I believe. I don't know if that's actually the edge of it or what, but we're not terribly far from the Grand Canyon. Like I said, I don't think we're going to make it there today because we're just touristing. We found this 5-star campsite here just between Flagstaff and Williams. Sorry I didn't come back on the video for Sedona or Flagstaff. Yeah, it was a nice ride, nothing special, but now the newer bike of the two is having some fuel leaking issues, so we're going to work on that at camp here. We got a drip right there. Hopefully it's just the fuel line. But we're going to get the tank off while we still got some light. I'm going to throw the tents and stuff out while he's working on that. And we'll get a campfire going. And Eddie's happy because right out there, see it through the trees? There's a porta potty. A grown man was afraid to utilize the outdoor facilities. That's okay though. Not too bad of a night camping. It got cool, but not cold. Slept okay. But this is what we're dealing with here. We had every water and Gatorade bottle we had, drained some gas out of here. These Kawasaki Concours are notorious for having these fuel petcock valves fail. This one failed like most of them do. The diaphragm went out, but we did the best we could fixing it. What's that? You found a motorcycle jacket? Yeah. Is it any good? Nah, it's already. But we broke camp. We're waiting just a little bit here. We're gonna get everything packed up. We did the best repair we could on that, which wasn't much with what we had. We're gonna let our fire burn down, put it out, pack everything up, put that tank on, and see if we can't get out of here. I think we might make it. Well, the bike will run. The biggest problem with that is if that fails, the fuel continues to flow, and if your carburetors have any defects in them whatsoever, it will overflow the carburetors and flood the engine out. So we'll see. Our repair on the stump didn't really get us very good results, so I unhooked the trailer. First time I've ridden this bike without the trailer for quite a while, and rode into Flagstaff, got some sealant, fuel resistant sealant, and then we took this thing all apart, gooped the hell out of it. I'm gonna let it set up here, I don't know, an hour and a half, put it on and try. That's all we can really do. It was leaking really bad. It's 2:30 at our campsite, and after multiple attempts We got this thing to stop leaking. We don't know 100% if it works, but we're camping out here between Williams and Flagstaff, and we're about 4 miles away from a truck stop. So we're going to attempt to get to the truck stop and then maybe ride to my buddy's house in Bullhead City, and we'll see what happens. If it holds together, maybe we're going to be on. We'll see. We have escaped our camping forest area. The bike made it. We had to put all kinds of that sealant crap on here, but well, let's double check. There's no leaking. It's not working correctly, but it's working. So we're gonna head to my buddy's place near Laughlin. I think the way we have this thing set up, we can't really let the bike sit for too long because the fuel doesn't stop flowing, and that could possibly overflow the carburetors and hydrolock the engine. So fortunately, Mr. Eddie had an issue with his fuel tank, and we had to drill this out because he lost the key to that, or it broke or something. But anyway, we can fuel this thing while it's running, and that's a good thing. So he doesn't have to shut it off. We don't worry about it. Once we get to my buddy's house, we can take the tank off. Long story short, we're moving. We're gonna make some more miles. So we'll see you there. Well, good morning from Bullhead City, Arizona. Staying at a friend's place here. Old silver bike made it, no problem. Well, one problem, I'll get to that in a moment, but the Barney bike, well, it struggled, but it did get here too. And I'll see if my buddy doesn't mind if I shoot a video in his shop, but we've got it in there. I think I had mentioned that I was having some noises coming from the speedometer, and that it was squealing and jumping around a little bit occasionally. Well, this thing went crazy when I was on the interstate, maybe going 75, 80. Speedometer was going from 0 to 150 back and forth, and it was causing all the other gauges on here to go crazy as well. And well, now I guess I don't have to worry about the temp gauge. The bike can't overheat if you don't know what the temperature is. And one of the weird things is that the odometer started turning backwards. Never seen that. So we disconnected the speedometer cable, duct taped it up there. Also got a little duct tape on this mirror because that was rattling and I didn't want to break it. All right, I need to get some coffee. I just got done running. Our fuel valve that we gooped up with this sealant isn't leaking externally anymore, but it's leaking internally. So fuel was going through this vacuum port, and what was happening is that fuel was getting sucked in through the vacuum line, and then it was causing the spark plugs to fall out, at least number 2 really bad. So our plan is we are going to cap off this vacuum port right down there. We'll also cap off the vacuum port on the fuel petcock, and then we're going to install a manual shutoff valve and then run the petcock in prime. So this is just a field fix, but it should get us home. Our plan was successful. We used a lawnmower shutoff valve. So maybe Barney is going to be named El Toro because that's a Toro mower part, whatever. But this should get us home. So we're going to attempt it here soon. It's not, surprisingly not getting cooler here in Bullhead City, Arizona. Projected high of 100 something, and we got to ride back through the desert to get back to San Diego. Not saying I'm excited about it, but riding home under your own power is always good. This isn't the way we wanted to end this journey, but we've lost a little confidence in the bike. The rider lost a little bit of confidence in himself. That's okay though. That's okay. You got to have discretion is the better part of valor, as they say. So I think between the bike acting up, and Eddie hasn't ridden in a while, and he toughed it out for 3 days and just didn't feel like himself today. And with the bike acting up, he said, let's get a truck. And I tried to convince him for about 1 second, and then I decided as a friend that was not the right thing to do. Although I did pick on him a little bit, but not too much, because, you know, sometimes you got to make that kind of a choice. But in the good news, I'm going to unload old Silver here, ride it the last little leg home, and we're home safe. So, well, he's home safe. I'm almost home safe. I'll see y'all in about 40, 50 miles. Myself, the bike, and the trailer have made it home safely. And, you know, besides the issue with our purple bike and our purple bike rider, which, you know, I can't fault him. You have to think about yourself, what's going on in your mind. This is the way I wanted this ride to end. Not really. Right in the back of a U-Haul. I mean, I could have rode, but I support my friend. Hopefully he gets his mind right and he gets back on two wheels soon. The only issue that this bike had was the speedometer, which I think I showed you, and which then caused the temp gauge to break. But the bike runs fine, and I would jump on this bike and take it another 1,000 miles, no problem. And all the trials and tribulations we had, that's what makes an adventure. Making it home makes it a good adventure. So I'm happy that I had a good adventure, and hopefully you enjoyed what I shared of that adventure. All right, if you're liking my content, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider doing so. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there and find your adventure. Adios.